I'm making French toast. I want to make French toast before breakfast. Yeah, so good morning from this place. Okay, so yeah, you guys, yeah, those of you who have been following me for some time, you're probably wondering about the new background. Yeah, so we relocated from Hong Kong to Canada. We are here in Toronto, and Toronto. Oh, I'm already sounding like a Canadian, like a Canadian. Don't mind me. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to be telling you a story, but let's get breakfast started because I've got some hungry people in this house, and I want to make French toast. Yeah. Anyway, the story is that we've moved. Yes, we've moved from our place in Hong Kong to a new place here in Canada. So I'm going to tell you about how we missed our flight coming here to Canada. We have lived in Hong Kong for the past 9 years, 9 years. So, and yeah, it was time to move, and we moved. It was the call of the spirit. Yeah, anyway, when we were sure that we were going to move, right, we booked our flights. Of course, those of you who travel, you know that when you want to travel, you start early. As soon as you know your travel plans, you start to make arrangements. So you start to make arrangements for your travel, for your trip. And one of the things that, okay, people like me who always think about how much it's going to cost, one of the things we usually do is that you try to find good deals on flight tickets, right? So you book early enough, say 2 months, not too early, 2 months, 3 months, right? Ahead of time. Those are the periods you would usually get like very good flight tickets. They are affordable, they are cheap and all that. Because the closer you get, the costlier it becomes. And especially if it's in the summer when people, of course, in Hong Kong people like to travel, right? They are always traveling, they are always going like to places. So summer period is usually, summer period and Christmas period, they are the hot period for traveling. We knew that, and so we booked our flight as early as possible. There are 6 of us in this family, so think about that when you think of the price for the ticket, right? Even the fact that we already 6 in number makes it okay. Unlike when you are 2 or 3 or just one of you, right? Just one person traveling. So we searched, we saw this agency, we booked, we saw different options. There was this agency that offered, you know, it was one of the agencies that offered affordable tickets, so we booked through them. So our flight was a long flight, right, from all the way from Hong Kong to Canada. So there was the direct flight, okay, was like 15 hours plus. We had children, so we wanted something that would give us some layover time so that our children don't get, okay, cranky on the flight. So we booked our flight, and uh-oh. So we booked our tickets, and we were set, I think, nearly 3 months ahead of our trip. And then came the day that we were supposed to travel, right? We'd packed our stuff, we were relocating, so we've ended our contract on our lease. We sold our car. Many of my properties, apparently all of my appliances, I could not travel with them because the voltage was not the same with Canada. So yes, I shipped most of them to Nigeria. So many of the things I had in my kitchen, those of you who know my small kitchen in Hong Kong, you know I have a lot of stuff, okay? So I gave some of them out, and I packed some of them so that I could travel with them. So anyway, came the day of our trip, and we left for the airport. So we left on time. We got to the check-in counter more than 3 hours, nearly 3 hours before, if not more than before the time. Our flight was supposed to take off at around 3:50 a.m. in the morning. And so we got at the check-in counter at around 11:45, 12, 11:45 to 12. Okay, so we started. We were so relaxed because we came on time, right? So we weren't even hurrying. We were the first person in front of that lady, right? When we got there, people had not even started queuing up for tickets. And so we got there, we were using the large area because we had a lot of stuff. We had strollers, we had this child booster seat, okay, for the airplane, because Air Canada, according to their rules, stated that if your child, if you have a child whose legs cannot like come off like over this seat on the airplane, they recommended that you use that seat. In fact, they said if you had a baby, a car seat, we recommend that you use it for your trip. Okay, don't check it in, use it in the cabin. And so we brought these two car seats for our two little ones, right, for them to be comfortable. And we started checking in. First of all, the lady at the counter was very slow. She was just, being somehow. And then we had some excess baggage. So some of the 23 per baggage, right? 23 kg per baggage. But she said it had to be 23. And she said it was too much. Some of them were 24, 25. Some were 26. And so we had to unpack and repack immediately. As soon as she was saying, this is not, I'll give you a carton. So please reduce some of it. We were doing that. My husband was doing that. We also had our friend who was with us, and a brother. Bro Chido, shout out to you. He was there with us. And so, yeah, we were doing that. He said, pay for excess kg. My husband said, where can I pay? Like, we were just responding. But she was just slow. I started to get a feeling that she was doing this on purpose. Now, I cannot attest. Okay, I can't confirm for a fact if it was on purpose, but her attitude started to show me that it was on purpose because this was the peak of the travel. Every travel ban has been lifted. People were traveling. It was summer, right? It's summer, right? So, and my husband would be like, okay, why don't you go ahead and just label the ones that are within the limit while I pay for these other ones? But she was just there, and in the end, she called her manager who came out. I don't know whether it's a manager or somebody, but somebody higher than she was. The guy came out and just turned the whole situation upside down. It was like he was sent on assignment. It was like he saw us in the dream. He said, no. And then he said, we cannot take this car seat, this baby seat. And we said, why? It is required for the safety of the child. He said, blah, 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 blah. And it became an argument between him and my husband. Now, I myself, where I was already perturbed. So I came there and I was like, baby, what is happening? What is it? What is he saying? He made so much noise about how big it was. And then he started saying it had to be FAA approved. And then the labeling, the FAA approved, according to my husband, was on the original, like the parcel when we bought it. So we started to look for it on the car seat. We did not see. And then he hung on to that because I think he sent the image to somebody. He was initially complaining about the size, but he sent the image to somebody who said FAA approved, and then he hung on to FAA approved. Show me FAA approved. So we started to search. We looked at the inscription. We did not see that it was on the parcel that we bought it with, okay, which we didn't bring along for the travel, for the trip. Anyway, we were dealing with the baggage. We were dealing with the car seat. Do you know, in the end, he allowed us to take the baby seat. But unfortunately, we were there, people were checking in the other queues, and every single person finished checking in. Nobody was there except us. When he allowed us to go, we packed our things and we rushed. We were rushing. We ran. The kind of running we did at the airport, and the gate was so far off. There were no express trains taking people to the place. It was like, oh my goodness, if you saw us that day, we were like mad people. My children, we are running. Everybody, they just wanted to, they took responsibility. I cried because I could not imagine making my children go through all those stress simply because we wanted to catch a plane. Okay, so in the end, when we got to the final lift that was supposed to take us to the gate, the lady that was with us, one of the staff, said, sorry, the gate has been closed, we can't go up. and that was it. We missed the flight, and now we started to contact the agency. Do you know, let's not even talk about the flight. We had ended our lease, we sold our car, 4 children, nothing. Okay, so we were just left stranded. So, but thank God for people, the blessing of people. All right. My brother-in-law lives in Hong Kong too with his family. As soon as we told him what happened, they said, okay, let the kids start coming. Because we slept over at the airport at night trying to rectify many things, which we weren't making any headway. So in the morning, we went back to my brother-in-law's house, and all our baggage, we reclaimed our baggages because we had like how many 14 pieces of luggage. So yeah, that's how we missed that flight. I'm coming, please. And so we spent like 1 week extra in Hong Kong trying to rectify this issue. We called the air agency, we called Air Canada, because this was a combination of Hong Kong Airlines and Air Canada. Hong Kong Airlines said it was not their duty, it was the agency's duty to rebook the flight. We called the agency, they said we should get Air Canada to open the ticket. We called Air Canada. Air Canada reopened the ticket and asked us to ask the agency to rebook the ticket that it's been reopened. Air Canada was very helpful actually. They did everything. They even stated that in the on the file, the reservation file, that this ticket can be rebooked. Okay, so we called these people and the agency was just being so sneaky. Oh my goodness. So they did not want to do that. They just didn't. Anyway, just suffice to say that we lost the money. Okay, we did not gain anything. They didn't rebook the ticket. When they eventually agreed, they said, yeah, we have to find a date. We told them we need to travel. That was why we booked. We had we had a time range, okay, a period that we wanted to travel. So yeah, and they said, oh, let's just wait until we find a suitable date. And we waited and waited 1 week, and all the while we were waiting, okay, we were not folding our hands. We were also trying to search for a suitable ticket, But men and brethren, getting a ticket in the peak of the summer travel season, summer holiday season, okay, with 6 people. First of all, once we include our 6 people, we barely see anything. The ones we see are outrageous. The prices we would see are ridiculous, okay? And the flight, 30-something hours of commute time, 40-something hours, nothing was ideal. Anyway, so when we tried to rebook the flight and we could not, then we decided to just go ahead and book a fresh flight. Guys, it was extremely costly, stupendously costly, ridiculously costly. In the end, we found one, cost a lot of money, like more than 2 times what we paid initially. I mean, if we had paid that amount at the time we booked the first one, we would have booked a business class for all 6 of us. But anyway, God is good. So yeah, we found one. So and this one even had 2 layovers.
I want to drink water.
So we had to go all the way not all the way, sorry. We went first from Hong Kong to Seoul, to South Korea, and then from South Korea to Tokyo, Japan, and then from Japan to Canada. So that was it. But here we are. We made it, and this is our first week. We've just finished our first week in Canada, actually. So that's the thing. That's the story. We are still setting up. I'm going to be showing you a couple of short videos, okay, in the interim, in the long run, about the things we are doing, how we're doing it, setting on this house and everything. So yeah. As for now, let's make breakfast. Okay?
So give me a minute to catch my breath. Take what's yours, I'll take what's left. I'm used to coming up second best. Always fail to pass the test. I'll be damned